about all that, I was going to try this 8 gates deck. So 8 gates, for those unfamiliar, is a tempo-ish, burn-ish Songhai deck that's been around forever. It's not very popular at the moment, but it does still get people. Like, the deck is still effective, as evidenced by the fact that we have a Grandmaster playing it in the Meltdown League, and I think doing pretty well. This is like 8th or something-ish. Maybe higher. So, it can... The thing that 8 gates does very well is you take board early on, unlike Mantra, so you actually have a lot of minions that you play, get to make tempo plays, interact with your opponent in some way, be proactive. And then later on in the game, like, so you get your opponent down to like 15, and then you just combo kill them. Like, you play 8 gates and you play a bunch of Phoenix Fires and they die. Whereas Mantra has to run away and survive and do all of its work in like 1 or 2 big turns. You know, you need to Mantra them down to like 8 or so, maybe less. Ideally kill them in one go, and then later on you can try and build up for another Mantra with She Dies BBS. And that takes longer, and it's harder to sit there and remove big minions, whereas with 8 gates you get to actually put your opponent on the back foot a bit more, because you have minions of your own that your opponent will want to respect, including Raver's Heartseekers. You play Cryptographer, some synergy there. The minions you choose are obviously designed to synergize with the core game plan. So I'll go through Meziljie's list in a minute. He actually played some cards that were from the sideboard last week in the main deck this week, presumably as tech against at least me, because I'm playing Wanderer. Main deck some Wanderer hit. I don't know exactly what got cut, but I have my suspicions. So this is the base list. Ooh, that didn't work. Please ignore that. This is the base list. So we have Celebrant, which is basically this. We can play Geomancer earlier, primarily. Didn't do that on purpose, but I'll take it. Cryptographer, which doubles up Geomancers in the late game or helps us play Heartseekers for extra threats in the early game. Lantern Fox, which generates more Phoenix Fires. Rocket Terror, which generates mini Phoenix Fires. Four Winds Magi, which is kind of a relatively niche option, but basically provides extra reach, extra burst, and the healing is not bad either. And it also is very good against artifacts. Spelljammer, which is essential card draw. And Geomancer, which is kind of how the deck works. It's a bit awkward because the 5/4 for 5 is embarrassing if you draw more than one copy. So Mez is only playing 2, but it's the sort of card where, like, if you could draw one card in your opening hand every game, you would pick Geomancer. Because setting up an early Geomancer gives you so much additional flexibility and power. Spell-wise, this particular version has Juxtaposition, Ghost Lightning. I think these are the cards that got cut for the Eternity Painter, OBS, and Twin Strike that I saw. So we'll maybe play a mix of those cards. We've got 8 gates. Mez is only playing 2, which is kind of reasonable because you do have some ability to cycle through your deck and dig for them later on. And they do clog up your hand earlier. 3 Phoenix Fire and 3 Thunderbomb, which are essential. Hello. They're essential pieces of burn, pieces of removal. And then Crescent Spear, which is another very, very important card for the deck. Like, it kind of stopped working when Crescent Spear wasn't available. Earlier on, I didn't see Jux or Ghost Lightning, but I did see... Or Lantern Fox, actually, which we may have cut. But I did see Eternity Painter, OBS, and Twin Strike in some mix. And these cards are all, like, really good in this deck. Depending on what you're expecting to fix, like, expecting to face. Mez is clearly... This particular list was presumably teched for something more lightweight, like main deck Ghost Lightning suggests probably eggs. Like playing 3 in the main is quite... That's a lot. But the card isn't bad, and it's pretty good with 8 gates. It gives you explosive clears. Juxtaposition I didn't see at all, but Jux is just kind of a useful card in general. You can kill eggs with it, you can put a Wanderer out of the way with it, but it does eat up space in your hand, and it doesn't synergize the way Mantra does. So mostly Drux is kind of awkward in this list. Like, you don't really have anything else to do with it that's good. So I'm gonna try some mix of this particular list and what I presume Mez was playing today. Like, I don't know what this build tuned for ladder would be, like which bits are tech cards and which aren't. But I've played a fair bit of 8 gates myself. So we can start with the obvious ones. We're definitely always playing Celebrant and Crypto. These cards are very important. My level's okay, by the way. Am I like significantly louder than the music or something? Let me just turn that down a bit. I turned the mic down at some point to stop it peaking, and then all my recent videos have been like drowned out by the music a little bit. Just turn that down a bit more. Lantern Fox. There we go. Rockadoptera. This card does way better than you'd expect in this deck because, as well as you being able to cycle the rock and draw a card if needs be, just to, you know, have something to put on the board without losing hand size. Having the 0 mana Bone Spell in your 8 gates combos allows you to kind of sneak past damage per mana thresholds that you wouldn't normally be able to bypass. 2 4-wins in this list, 3 Spelljammer, Geomancer. These all seem like reasonable numbers. I don't normally play more than 1 4-wins in these lists, but let's give it a try because it was pretty good against me today. Then in terms of spells, we have Jux. I don't know how many of these I actually want. I feel like the card is kind of marginal, so I'm just going to play 1. Ghost Lightning, I'll just play 2, and that leaves room for the Eternity Painters and OBSs. Utatsu, play set of those. This card is actually pretty important for the deck. 8 gates is our namesake. Phoenix Fire, playset. Thunderbomb, also a playset. And Spear. And then let's do like 1 or 2 painters and 1 or 2 OBS. Let's go with 1 OBS and 2 painter because painter is just better. Obviously it's more expensive, but the card is actively extremely good, whereas OBS is just a removal spell. Cool. Let's go.